Hello, everyone. I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be breaking down our featured fight for UFC 323. In this one, we have quite possibly a title eliminator as former two-time champion Brandon Moreno takes on Tatsuro Taira. In this one, you have honestly one of the most compelling matchups on the card for me. And as I've said before, there were three fights that were the hardest for me to pick because of just how close and I was like, oh, they really could go either way. The first one was Barbosa Turner. The second was Varazihan versus Nazim Salikov. And this is the third one, Brandon Moreno versus Taira. In this matchup, you have Brandon Moreno, the former champion, fighter defined by the resilience, adaptation, and the ability to rise to the biggest moments. On the other hand, you have Tatsuro Taira, one of the brightest prospects in the division, and a rising technician that has some of the new era of grappling, fluidity, and transitional control. This matchup is not simply a veteran versus the rising phenom. I know you could call Taira still a prospect. I mean, not really. Yeah, at this point because he's top 5 in the division, but he is still someone to look out for in this one. And I mean, it's crazy to think Brandon Moreno is 31. He's technically in his prime. He just has so many fights, while Taira is only 25. It's you could say more or less it's a study in contrast: pressure versus patience, durability versus precision, experience versus evolution. Also, I apologize for that. I had to fix my computer or to make sure I got my notes. Anyway, Moreno has been through wars and emerged battle ready every time. Taira, meanwhile, is carving his path not through grit alone, but through control, timing, and a grappling style that feels kind of effortless, really. I mean, you look at some of the people he beat, like Jesus Aguilar, CJ Vergara, Carlos Hernandez, and he's kind of made it look effortless. I mean, shoot, that sounds about right. He's kind of made it look effortless in some of these fights. I'm not kidding. In this video, I'll be talking about Brandon Moreno's style, what makes him such a riddle for fighters, and how his approach thrives in chaos. Then Taira exploiting his grappling, composure, and the way he manipulates position far better than most fighters will ever do, in my opinion. And then analyze how these styles interact. Well, without further ado, let's break down their styles. Starting with Brandon Moreno, he is easily one of the most durable fighters ever. I mean, he's never been finished in his whole career of 23 8-2 record. Pardon me. Yes, that is in 33 fights. The man has never been finished. I apologize. I had to do some quick math in my head, but you get my idea. I mean, he's fought some of the hardest punchers in his division, like Davison Figueiredo. Who else did he fight? It was a dangerous finisher. Brandon Royval, Alessandro Pantoja. He's fought some of the hardest hitters you can in this division, and he's never been finished. I mean, he's been hurt. He fought like Car France, for example, but again, never been finished. And he's also one of the most adaptable fighters in the history of the flyweight division. What makes Moreno unique is not just toughness, it's the way he blends endurance, rhythm, and pressure over the long stretch. Moreno doesn't overwhelm opponents with one-shot power or elite wrestling. Instead, he breaks opponents down through accumulation, persistence, and the constant threat of scrambles. Moreno's striking is built around a few core elements: a long jab, a sneaky right hand, and a rhythm that never truly settles. He's unorthodox without being reckless. His timing isn't always perfect, but his ability to recover, reset, and re-enter exchanges make him incredibly dangerous over time. And fighters think they've timed him, only for him to adjust and force a new pattern on them. One of the defining parts of Moreno's game is his pressure. He doesn't sprint forward, but he always inches in, always engaging just enough to force a reaction, and opponents rarely get long periods of control. Moreno's constantly testing range, consistently touching with fillers, simple jabs, some leg kicks, but mostly it's his boxing, and consistently giving you something to think about. If I just have this jab over and over and over in your face, it's going to force an opponent to react either by parrying it, blocking it. You're giving Moreno something to think about, like, okay, every time I throw my jab, he's parrying. Fake a jab, right hand, or fake a jab, left hook. Simple as that. Then there's his grappling. Moreno's grappling isn't built on dominating position. It's built on creating chaos. He thrives and he's a very, very good scrambler. I mean, you look at his fight with Pantoja, specifically the third fight, and how Moreno, he fought one of the best grapplers in all of MMA pound for pound. And Moreno was able to out scramble Pantoja in certain positions, able to get on top, survive the back take. Moreno's a hell of a grappler. I mean, he's the only person to submit Davison Figueiredo, or yeah, I was gonna say the only person to finish him, but I thought about it. But yeah, he is the only person to ever finish Davison Figueiredo in a fight, right? And he did it by submission. So, and this is why so many people's fighters struggle, like to hold him down. It's not that he's impossible to ground; it's that he doesn't stay still long enough for you to settle into a controlled position because he has a knack for turning defensive moments into offensive moments. He just has a hell of a gas tank. And honestly, I would say the greatest weapon is Moreno's mentality. He doesn't fade, doesn't panic, and even when he's losing moments, he's constantly building towards winning rounds. His combination of pressure, durability, and scrambling abilities give him a unique presence in the cage, and one that's had him win championships. Now, looking at Tatsuro Taira, he's what I would say is the new generation of MMA grapplers. It's not just simple BJJ, it's not just wrestling. He's a seamless blend of positional awareness, body control, and composure that makes everything he looks so smooth and inevitable. Oh, where Moreno thrives in the chaos of a fight, Taira controls the fight. The first thing that stands out about Taira is his calmness. He doesn't rush, not going to force a takedown from bad position. Instead, he's going to build layer by layer. Feint into clinch entries into the body lock, and then body locks into trips, all executed without urgency. He makes grappling kind of feel like a technical flow rather than the scramble. On the ground, he's absolutely suffocating. He uses his long limbs, heavy hips, and intelligent pressure to stay one step ahead. But what sets Taira apart is his ability to maintain control while simultaneously hunting for improvements. He doesn't just go for take the back. He traps the arm, he manipulates his hooks, he forces opponents into defensive positions where their only option, how do I say this? The best grapplers in MMA give opponents impossible positions. Whether it's I'm going to give up an even more dominant position or I'm going to give an opportunity to submit me. That's essentially what Taira does. I mean, shoot, you saw his fight with Brandon Royval where I did pick Royval to win and he did win the fight. But let's not deny that Taira, when he had Royval's back or had him on the ground, he controlled him for the entirety of those rounds. I mean, he's that good. Or the broom sweep he landed on Alex Perez that blew his knee apart. I mean, Taira is vicious when it comes to his grappling. Absolutely vicious. And his striking is improving. You saw it against Chung Sung Park, who, granted, was a week's notice, but he dropped him in the second round, then immediately got in the face crank. I mean, Taira is just nasty. Now, of course, it's still developing, but he's showing much better power, better defense, and he's got a chin. I mean, Brandon Royval hit him pillar to post in the third round, and he's kept fighting. Another subtle part about Taira's game is patience. He has no issue winning slow rounds. He has no issue taking his time to secure a dominant position before building a submission. While Moreno wants chaos, Taira wants precision. And precision often wins when both fighters are grappling focused. Now, the final component is his youth and physical development. He's fast, he's strong for the weight class, and he's still improving at a pace that's difficult to prepare for. So opponents aren't just fighting who Taira is, they're fighting who he could be. I mean, a lot of people have pegged him as maybe not a future champion, but for sure a title contender. Honestly, if he doesn't touch gold, I'd be absolutely shocked. And I'd be even more shocked if him and, say, Joshua Van never fight each other. Now, this fight comes down to a simple question. Can Moreno create enough chaos to prevent Taira from settling into the clean, precise position he's so effective in? The typical Moreno fight involves extended exchanges, scrambles, and moments where the pace becomes too much for an opponent to keep up. But Taira doesn't fight in those moments. He avoids them entirely. He slows the pace, he controls the distance, and he refuses to exchange in wild secretless unless he's, winning them in one step. Moreno's biggest advantages in this fight, for sure, is his striking. He's going to be the much better boxer, much cleaner boxer than Taira, and his experience against elite level competition. If you really look at Taira's record, you could say he's only fought really two high level opponents, Alex Perez and Brandon Royval. The rest of them are not the rest of his opponents, like Carlos Hernandez, CJ Vergara, Edgar Chavez, who could be something, but for now. And most recently, Young Sung Park aren't not to the level of Perez, Royval, or Moreno. They simply aren't. But so Moreno has faced the absolute best in the world, and he's found ways to survive when fights get messy. But surviving isn't the same as control. And against a fighter like Taira, maybe this is something different. The biggest stylistic clash is going to be in the grappling. Moreno scrambles, Taira shuts down scrambles. Moreno escapes through movements, Taira anticipates the movements and blocks it before it happens. Where Moreno thrives in chaos, Taira thrives in the order. Now, the striking exchanges themselves could be competitive, especially early. Moreno will have the advantage there, and he'll try to use it to keep Taira from clinching. But the problem is in the transitions, I think. Taira doesn't need to win the striking exchanges to enter the grappling realm. He just needs that small opening, like one jab that falls short, one overextension, one missed angle. And once he connects his hands, he usually can complete the takedown. Another concern for Moreno is defensive grappling fatigue. Even if he survives early positions, Taira's ability to force repeated escapes does drain energy. Now, Moreno has excellent cardio, so I don't know how much that will affect him. But Taira could make Moreno work in ways that could burn himself out. Again, very unlikely because, like I said, Moreno has very good cardio, and this is a 3-round fight, so I don't know if that's a possibility. But, for my prediction, again, I struggle with this one greatly because Brandon Moreno has the experience, the heart, and the chaos factor to make any fight competitive. And his pressure, his scrambling, and his championship mentality can never be dismissed. But in this specific matchup, not a confident pick. I'm going to tell you guys that. I'm going to go with Tatsuro Taira. I think Taira's grappling control, his smooth positional transition, and his ability to shut down scrambles directly counter what Moreno does best in the grappling. Moreno thrives when opponents get lost in exchanges. Taira refuses to do that. I think he's positionally going to be better. Now, while this is on the feet, I think Moreno's going to win. And if Moreno can keep Taira on the feet longer than Taira can take Moreno down, then I think Moreno wins. But if Taira can get takedowns early in the rounds, I think he can control Brandon Moreno methodically and secure dominant positions. And his precision in transitions could gradually wear down Moreno's defensive resilience. I think Moreno will have his moments. Absolutely. He's too good not to. But I think over time, the grappling accumulation favors Taira. His youth, his composure, and his technical superiority in positional control should allow him to outmaneuver Moreno as the rounds progress. So my official prediction, I'm going to go with Tatsuro Taira, and I'm going to pick him via decision. I don't see him submitting Brandon Moreno. Moreno's, like I said, never been finished. And I don't think he's going to get finished in this fight. But I do think Taira can get the decision win. So once again, my official prediction, I'm going with Tatsuro Taira, and I'm going to pick him via decision. With that being said, I've been Bill from Brutal Commentary. If you liked the video, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win. But until then, stay calm, stay respectful, and enjoy the violence. I'll see you all next time.